The morning sun was shining over the glass walls of the Royal Crest Hotel. Everything looked perfect. Floors were shining, the staff stood straight in line, and the sweet smell of fresh flowers filled the lobby. It was a special day. A French millionaire was coming to stay. Everyone was nervous. The manager, Mr. Parker, walked fast across the lobby, fixing every small detail. His eyes moved like a hawk, checking the uniforms, the lights, the flowers. He was a man who liked perfection, and today he needed it more than ever. "This is not just any guest," he whispered to his assistant. "This man owns hotels, ships, and maybe half of Paris. We must not make a single mistake." The staff nodded. Everyone knew how strict Mr. Parker could be. Then she appeared, Maya, the new maid. She had joined only 3 days ago. Quiet, polite, and always doing her work without talking much. Some workers laughed behind her back. "She's too serious," one said. "She doesn't even smile," another added, but Maya didn't care. She came to work early, cleaned the rooms better than anyone, and left quietly at the end of the day. Nobody knew much about her, where she came from, or what she had done before. She looked simple, humble, maybe too ordinary for a 5-star hotel like this. Around 10 a.m., the millionaire's car arrived, a black limousine with shining wheels. 2 men in suits stepped out, followed by Monsieur Dubois, the guest himself. He wore a white suit, gold watch, and a calm smile that said he was used to power. "Bonjour," he said softly, his French accent filling the air. Mr. Parker froze. He didn't speak French. He had prepared for this. He planned to greet in English and hoped the guest understood. But Dubois kept speaking in fast, elegant French, smiling as if expecting an answer. Mr. Parker's face turned red. Sweat ran down his neck. The staff looked at him, waiting. His assistant whispered, "Sir, do you understand him?" He smiled awkwardly, nodding, pretending he knew. He pointed toward the reception, trying to escape the moment. But Dubois looked confused. He repeated his question, now slower, but still in French. The lobby went silent. Mr. Parker's hands shook. Yes, of course, monsieur," he said, with broken words. But his voice cracked. He didn't even know what he was agreeing to. The millionaire raised his eyebrows. His calm smile started to fade. The other guests were watching now. A few staff members whispered, and one of the bellboys looked down to hide his laugh. Mr. Parker felt humiliated. The biggest moment of his career, and he was failing in front of everyone. And then, a soft voice came from behind. "Excuse me, monsieur," someone said, in perfect, fluent French. Everyone turned. It was Maya, the quiet maid. She stepped forward with confidence, her voice calm and clear. "He's welcoming you to the Royal Crest, Monsieur Dubois," she said in French, translating the manager's nervous words perfectly. Dubois looked surprised. His eyes brightened. "Ah, vous parlez français," he said, smiling wide. Maya smiled back politely. "Oui, monsieur." Unpelled. "Yes, sir." A little Mr. Parker's mouth fell open. The entire lobby froze. No one had ever heard Maya speak like that, and certainly not in French that sounded so natural, so beautiful. The millionaire looked pleased now. He began talking to her more, laughing at something she said. Within seconds, the tension disappeared. Guests began to relax. The lobby felt alive again, but for Mr. Parker it was different. His heart pounded. How could a maid, a simple cleaner, speak such perfect French? As Maya helped carry the luggage, her eyes met his for a moment. There was something mysterious in her calm look. Something that said she was not who they thought she was, and that was only the beginning. Because Maya's past and the reason she spoke perfect. French was about to change everything inside that hotel. After the French millionaire, Monsieur Dubois went to his suite. The hotel returned to its quiet routine. But inside the manager's office, Mr. Parker was still restless. His hands were shaking as he poured coffee. The sound of Maya's voice kept echoing in his head. Calm, fluent, perfect French. How could she know that language? He muttered, "She's just a maid, isn't she?" His assistant, Clara, entered with a file. "Sir, do you want me to check her records?" Mr. Parker looked up sharply. No, he said quickly, then hesitated. Yes, yes, do it. But be discreet. Don't let her know we're checking, Clara nodded. Meanwhile, Maya walked down the long hotel hallway, holding a tray of tea. Her face looked calm, but her heart was racing. She hadn't meant to draw attention to herself, but she couldn't let the manager embarrass himself in front of the guest. She entered Monsieur Dubois's suite. The millionaire was sitting by the window, smiling as he watched the city skyline. "Ah, mademoiselle," he said when she came in. "You're French? It is beautiful. You sound like a Parisian." "Thank you, sir," Maya said softly. "Where did you learn?" he asked curiously. Maya hesitated. She placed the tea on the table carefully before answering. "From my grandmother. She was from Senegal, but she studied in France." Dubois smiled warmly. "Ah, Senegal. Such a lovely country. I did business there long ago." Maya only nodded. Her eyes looked far away, as if remembering something painful. Downstairs, Clara finished checking the staff files. Something didn't match. She walked quickly to the manager's office. "Sir," she said, closing the door. "I checked her file. It's strange." "What do you mean?" Mr. Parker asked. "She didn't give a full address, only a small apartment number. And there's no work history before this hotel. No references, no ID copy. Just her name, Maya Johnson. No background at all?" "Nothing," Clara said. "It's like she appeared out of nowhere." The manager leaned back in his chair thinking, he didn't like mysteries, not in his hotel. That evening, as the sky turned orange, Maya went to the staff room to rest. She sat alone near the window, watching the sunset. She looked peaceful, but her eyes were full of memories. In her mind, she saw another hotel in another country where she had once worked. She remembered men in suits, loud arguments, and a sudden betrayal that had forced her to leave everything behind. She whispered to herself, "You can't hide forever, Maya." At that same moment, outside the door, someone was listening. Clara had followed her quietly, trying to learn more. But when she heard Maya's whisper, her heart skipped a beat. She turned and ran back to the manager's office. "Sir," she said, out of breath. "I think she's hiding something." "She said she can't hide forever?" Mr. Parker stood up immediately. "Get security. I want to know who she really is." Later that night, as the hotel grew quiet, Maya finished cleaning the top floor. When she entered the manager's office to drop the keys, she noticed his computer screen glowing. A list of employee names was open, and hers was highlighted in red. Her face turned pale. She realized what was happening. They were investigating her. She turned off the light and walked away silently, her mind spinning. Maybe it was time to leave again. But just as she reached the lobby, she saw Monsieur Dubois standing there, talking to Mr. Parker. Their eyes turned to her. "Maya," the millionaire called out kindly, "would you come here for a moment?" Mr. Parker's expression was unreadable, half curiosity. Half suspicion, Maya forced a small smile and walked toward them, every step heavy with fear. She didn't know that this meeting right here, in the grand lobby, was about to open a door to her past she thought was locked forever, and what came next would shock everyone in the hotel. The hotel lobby was quiet, except for the soft sound of footsteps. Maya stood a few feet away from Monsieur Dubois and Mr. Parker. Her heart beat fast, but her face showed calm. "Maya," said the millionaire with a kind smile, "you have a special gift. I must thank you for helping me this morning. Without you, I think your manager would have fainted." Everyone laughed softly, everyone except Mr. Parker. His smile looked forced. Dubois turned to him. "This young lady, she speaks perfect French. She must have studied in Paris, non?" Mr. Parker quickly replied, "Oh, perhaps. I'm not sure of her background." Maya lowered her eyes. "I just learned from my grandmother, sir." "Ah, but your accent," Dubois said. "That's not something learned from books. That's real experience." For a moment, their eyes met. Dubois looked strangely thoughtful, almost emotional, as if Maya reminded him of someone long ago. Then he smiled again. "Well, I'm glad to see talent in this hotel. I'll need her help during my stay." Mr. Parker nodded stiffly. "Of course, sir. Whatever you require." But inside, jealousy burned. He felt his authority slipping. A maid stealing the guest's attention? Impossible. Later that night, the hotel lights dimmed. Maya walked through the quiet halls, her cleaning cart squeaking softly. Suddenly, she heard a voice behind her. Maya, who was Mr. Parker. She turned, trying to stay calm. "Yes, sir?" He stepped closer. "You surprised everyone today? Where did you really learn French?" "I told you, sir," she said politely. "From my grandmother," he smiled coldly. "Don't lie. I checked your file. There's nothing, no school, no record, nothing before this job. You just appeared. Who are you really?" Maya froze. Her lips trembled slightly, but she said nothing. Mr. Parker leaned closer. "If you're hiding something, I'll find out. This hotel doesn't keep secrets." He turned and left, leaving her standing there in the empty hallway. Maya's hands were shaking. She leaned against the wall, trying to breathe. Her past was following her again. She couldn't let it happen. Not this time. The next morning, Maya was serving breakfast in the VIP lounge. Monsieur Dubois waved her over. "Mademoiselle, join me for a moment," he said kindly. She hesitated. "I'm on duty, sir. And consider this part of your duty?" He smiled. She sat down carefully. Dubois studied her face. "You remind me of someone," he said softly. "Someone from a long time ago." Maya looked confused. "Someone you knew, sir?" "Yes," he nodded. "A woman named Amara. She worked for my family in Paris many years ago. She was extraordinary. Intelligent, brave, full of dignity. She disappeared one night, no one knew where she went." Maya's heart almost stopped. Her fingers trembled. "Amara," she whispered. Dubois nodded slowly. "Yes, you even have her eyes." For a moment, Maya couldn't speak. Her mind raced back her grandmother's stories, the letters, the photos she kept hidden in her bag. Could it be? The same man? Monsieur Dubois looked closer. "You are her granddaughter, aren't you?" Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, I am." Dubois leaned back in surprise. "My God, Amara was like family to us. She saved my father's life once. And you're here, working as a maid?" She lowered her head. "Life hasn't been kind, sir. I lost my family, my home. I just wanted peace." Dubois looked deeply moved. "You deserve better. You have her spirit. You speak like her, think like her. You should not be cleaning rooms. You should be managing them." But across the hall, someone was listening, Mr. Parker. He had come to check on breakfast service, but instead he heard everything. His expression turned dark. "So," he whispered to himself, "that's her game. She's trying to win him over. Clever." Stepped back quietly, already planning his next move. As Maya stood to leave, Dubois said warmly, "Tonight, there's a private dinner. I want you there not as staff, but as my guest." Her eyes widened. "Me, but no excuses." He smiled. "It's decided." Maya smiled nervously. She didn't notice Mr. Parker watching from the shadows, his eyes cold with jealousy. That night would change everything. Because while Maya's truth was about to shine, someone else's dark plan was already in motion. The evening air around the Royal Crest Hotel felt different. Quiet, but heavy, like a secret waiting to be spoken. The grand dining hall sparkled with golden lights. Silver cutlery glowed, glasses shone, and the sweet smell of roses filled the air. Tonight was the private dinner hosted by Monsieur Dubois. Only a few elite guests were invited, and among them, unexpectedly, was Maya. She stood at the entrance, wearing a simple black dress borrowed from one of the receptionists. Her hair was tied neatly, her eyes calm but uncertain. She didn't belong here, at least. That's what she told herself. When Dubois saw her, his face brightened. "Ah, there she is," he said warmly. "Mademoiselle Maya, please, come in." The guests turned their heads. A few of them whispered, "Isn't she the maid?" One woman murmured, "Yes, But look at her, she carries herself like a queen, another replied. Mr. Parker stood near the corner of the room, pretending to smile. His jealousy was like fire beneath his skin. He had worked 10 years to earn this position. Now this maid, this mystery woman, was sitting at the same table as the millionaire. As the dinner began, laughter and polite conversation filled the air. Dubois shared stories of his travels, from Paris to Morocco, from London to New York. Maya listened quietly, sometimes answering in soft, perfect French. Each time she spoke, the room seemed to pause. There was grace in her voice, a kind of strength that drew everyone's attention. But Mr. Parker couldn't stand it. He leaned close to a waiter and whispered, "Keep an eye on her. I think she's not who she says she is." The waiter looked nervous. "Sir, what do you mean?" Mr. Parker's eyes narrowed. "Just do as I say." As the night went on, Dubois raised a glass. "Two new beginnings," he said cheerfully, "and to the past that never truly leaves us." Maya's smile faded for a moment. The past, that word struck deep. She remembered her childhood in Senegal, her grandmother Amara's stories about France, about loyalty and betrayal. And she remembered the night everything was lost when her family had to flee because of a man. But who took everything from them? She shook her head gently. Not tonight. She didn't want those memories now suddenly. A voice interrupted the peace. "Mr. Dubois," said Mr. Parker loudly, holding a paper in his hand. "There's something you should see." The room went silent. Dubois frowned. "What is it?" Parker stepped forward dramatically. "This woman, Maya Johnson, she doesn't exist in any record. No ID, no history, no address. She's hiding her real name. I thought you should know before trusting her." The guests gasped. Maya froze. Her face turned pale. "That's not true," she said softly. "Oh, really?" Parker smirked. "Then maybe you can explain this." He held up a printed document, a fake file he had created. According to this, she worked under another name at a hotel in France and was fired for theft. The room erupted in whispers. Dubois stood, his eyes sharp. "Mr. Parker, that is a serious claim. Do you have proof?" Parker's confidence wavered. I received it anonymously," he said quickly. "But it fits, doesn't it?" Maya's voice shook. "That's a lie. I've never stolen anything." Dubois looked at her, searching her eyes. There was only truth in them, calm, clear, and strong. "I believe her," Dubois said finally. Mr. Parker's face turned red. "Sir, she's fooling you." "Enough." Dubois's voice thundered. "You forget your place. This woman's grandmother saved my family. I will not let her be insulted." The guests fell silent. Parker clenched his fists, but said nothing more. Maya looked down, tears glistening in her eyes. Dubois touched her shoulder gently. "You don't have to hide anymore," he said softly. "Your name deserves respect. Ada." But as they spoke, a shadow moved near the back of the hall. The waiter Parker had bribed earlier slipped out quietly, holding a phone. He was sending a message to someone unknown. "Found her. She's here. Send the man tonight." Outside the hotel in the dark street, a black car stopped near the gate. A man stepped out, his face hidden under a hat. He looked up at the glowing windows of the dining hall and whispered, "It's time she paid for the past." The night around the Royal Crest Hotel had turned cold and silent. The grand dinner was over, but the storm it created was only beginning. Inside her small staff room, Maya sat on the edge of her bed, holding an old photograph. Her grandmother, Amara, smiling beside a young man in a white suit. That man was Henri Dubois, Monsieur Dubois's father. The photo had been hidden for years, and now fate had brought her face to face with his son. She whispered softly, "Grandmother, why does the past keep following me?" Outside her door, the hallway lights flickered. A quiet shadow moved, slow, careful, unseen. It was the man from the black car. He walked like someone who knew the building well. His face stayed hidden under a hat. His steps made no sound on the carpet. He stopped near Maya's door and listened. Then he took out his phone and sent a message. "Target confirmed." Inside room 213, downstairs in the manager's office, Mr. Parker sat alone, the fake file still on his desk. He kept reading it, but something inside him felt wrong. He had lied. He knew it. Yet he told himself it was necessary. "She's just a maid," he muttered. "She doesn't belong here." But his voice shook. Maybe it wasn't about her anymore. Maybe it was about his pride, his fear of losing control, of being replaced. He stood up and poured a drink, his mind heavy. Outside the glass wall, he saw the hotel courtyard dark, empty, except for one moving shadow. At first he thought it was a guest, but then he noticed the way the figure moved, too careful, too secretive. Parker frowned. "Who's that?" He stepped closer to the window. The man disappeared into the staff area. Parker's heartbeat quickened. "Security?" he called out, but no one answered. Meanwhile, Maya felt uneasy. She kept hearing small sounds, footsteps, doors creaking, whispers. She tried to calm herself. "It's just the wind," she told herself. But then knock knock, her heart jumped. She didn't open. "Who is it?" she asked. Silence, then a voice low, rough, and unfamiliar. "Room service." Maya froze. There was no room service at midnight for staff rooms. Quietly, she backed away from the door, her hand shaking. The knob turned slowly from the other side. Fear rushed through her body. She grabbed the nearest thing, a lamp, and held it tight. The door opened slightly, and a man stepped in, tall, dressed in black, his face hidden under a cap. "Who are you?" Maya whispered. The man didn't answer. He stepped closer. His voice was cold. "You shouldn't have come back, Maya. You should have stayed hidden." Her blood ran cold. "Who sent you?" "The one you betrayed," he said. She gasped. It couldn't be. That voice, she remembered it from years ago. Back in France, when she worked at the Beaujardin Hotel, a man had framed her for a theft she never committed. That man's name was Lucien Morel, a corrupt businessman now working with Parker's contacts. "You," she said slowly. "You've destroyed my life." Lucien smiled darkly. "And now I finish what I started." He stepped forward, but before he could reach her, someone shouted behind him, "Stop right there!" It was Monsieur Dubois, holding a flashlight, followed by 2 security guards. Lucien turned, his eyes burning with anger. "This isn't your fight, Dubois." "Oh, but it is," Dubois said firmly. "Your lies ruined her family once. Not again." Lucien tried to escape, but the guards blocked the exit. A short struggle followed. The lamp fell, glass shattered, and then silence. Within minutes, Lucien was caught. Maya sat trembling, tears streaming down her face. Dubois knelt beside her. "It's over," he said softly. She shook her head. "No, sir. The truth is not over yet." He didn't act alone. Dubois looked at her seriously. "What do you mean?" Her eyes turned toward the manager's office. "Someone inside this hotel wanted me gone. Someone who helped him." Dubois followed her gaze, and far down the hall, behind the glass walls of his office. Mr. Parker stood frozen, watching everything. He knew she had guessed, and tomorrow, the truth would come for him too. The next morning, the Royal Crest Hotel looked calm on the outside, but inside, whispers ran like cold wind through every hallway. Everyone knew something had happened last night. The mysterious man was gone, taken by police, but the story was spreading fast. In his office, Mr. Parker sat stiffly behind his desk. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. The memory of Maya's eyes from last night haunted him, eyes that had seen the truth. A soft knock came on the door. "Come in," he said quietly. Monsieur Dubois entered, looking serious, followed by Maya. She looked calm, but her voice carried quiet strength. Mr. Parker stood. "Sir, I Dubois," raised a hand. "No need to explain yet. We already know everything." Parker's face turned pale. "What do you mean?" Dubois laid a file on the desk. Lucien Morel confessed. He said he didn't come here by chance. Someone from inside this hotel gave him information about Maya, her room number, her schedule, even her past. "Do you know who that might be?" Parker swallowed hard. His throat felt dry. He's lying, he said weakly. Maya stepped forward. Why, Mr. Parker? She asked softly. What did I ever do to you? He looked at her, guilt flickering across his face. You embarrassed me, he said, voice trembling. You made me look like a fool in front of everyone. I've worked 10 years for this place, and you came in and took everything. I didn't take anything, Maya replied. I only helped when you couldn't. Her calmness made his anger rise again. You think you're better than us because you speak French? Because you have rich friends now? Dubois slammed his hand on the table. Enough. You betrayed your position. You put her life in danger. That is not leadership. That is fear and jealousy. Parker's shoulders dropped. His eyes filled with regret. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt, he whispered. But you did, Maya said gently. You hurt yourself most of all. A long silence filled the room. The ticking clock was the only sound. Finally, Dubois spoke. Mr. Parker, your employment here is finished. The board will be informed. I hope one day you learn that respect is not earned by control, but by kindness. Parker lowered his head. For the first time, he said nothing. He quietly took off his name badge, placed it on the desk, and walked out. Maya watched him leave, not with anger, but with sadness. She knew what jealousy could do to a person. She had seen it before. Later that day, Dubois met Maya in the hotel garden. The morning sun touched the flowers and a soft breeze moved the trees. He looked at her kindly. You are stronger than I thought, he said. You faced danger and truth with grace. My father would have been proud. Maya smiled softly. Thank you, sir. I only did what was right. He nodded. And now you must decide what comes next. I would like to offer you something, a new beginning. I'm opening a new hotel in Paris. I want you to join me there, not as a maid, but as an assistant manager. Her eyes widened. Me, yes, you. You understand people. You carry dignity, not pride. That's what true leadership is. Tears filled Maya's eyes. I don't know what to say. Dubois smiled. Say yes. After a long moment, Maya nodded. Yes. That evening, she stood at the hotel's rooftop, watching the sunset paint the city gold. For the first time in years, her heart felt light. The shadows of her past were gone. She whispered softly, Grandmother, we did it. We found peace. Down below, the guests moved through the lobby. Unaware of the journey that had just ended, and the new one about to begin, Maya turned to leave. Her reflection glowing in the glass doors. She was no longer just a maid. She was a woman who had faced lies, fear, and danger, and still walked out with her head held high. Epilogue a few months later. In the heart of Paris, a grand hotel opened its doors. The sign outside read, Alada Lamara, in honor of grace and courage. And standing proudly at the front desk was Maya Johnson. Greeting guests in perfect French, her story now one of hope, not pain, because sometimes the quietest voices hide the loudest strength, and sometimes the maid you overlook turns out to be the heart of the story.